Okay guys, we are back for one last bad ending for Touya, who is on screen. We only have one choice this time. It's a little earlier in the route. And we're going to say he's plenty strong. I think this is after Surin came in and was like, war's imminent, maybe you should send the wife back, kind of thing. So, here we go, we'll see what happens. You're plenty strong. It's thanks to your strength that we've come this far, since that vow. Ah yes, the vow.
So, you are with me because of that vow after all.
What?
So, don't you dare say you're going back.
That's not... The coldness of his uttered voice makes me feel a knot in my throat. It may have been Touya in front of me, but for a moment, I felt like I was dealing with another person. Touya?
I'm sorry. Surin was saying some weird things, so that got me out of sorts.
His condition suddenly changed, and I was confused about how to react. Touya's face was raised with the usual bright smile, which made me even more confused.
Alright. Shall we go to bed then?
Yeah.
I'll think of something regarding Roos, so don't you worry. Relax.
He gently touches my lips, easing the tension. There's still a lot left unresolved, but I don't want Touya to get depressed again over various things. Touya returned with alcohol from his desk as I was silent with a slight awkwardness. Is this the numbing one?
Oh yeah, I got this alcohol the other day, so have a drink. It'll help you sleep.
Yeah. Thank you. A drink before bed. Perhaps thinking about tomorrow's official duties, or duties, Touya didn't seem to want to take a sip.
Yes, isn't it funny how that works? Good night, my sweet queen.
After kissing me, he turned around with a snap. I thought we would sleep together, so I asked out of curiosity. Where are you going?
I just remembered that there's something I need to prepare for tomorrow. Go on and sleep without me.
But...
Don't worry. I'll go to bed soon.
Okay. Let's talk about that issue tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning.
Maybe Touya is upset at the possibility of war breaking out, so it's best to leave him alone until he calms down. Good night, Touya.
Good night.
He didn't turn around, but the voice that echoed out was kind, so I laid down with peace of mind. That was your first mistake. Yes, it was almost too kind. In the pits of paradise. Okay, it is all new from here. I didn't think that chapter sounded familiar, but I wanted to confirm. The change seems to come suddenly one day, and perhaps I'm just witnessing the result of the accumulation now.
Kill him.
Huh? Touya said that with a cheerful smile and a gentle voice that suits a refreshing morning. I blink, as if pinched by a fox, together with Mole, who came to report this morning. Oh dang! Lord Zamuda zamuted his last Zamuda. I mean, okay. Just saying you're strong apparently made this guy crash out.
You mean... kill Lord Zamuda?
My inner voice overlaps with Mole's question. I was so surprised that I got stuck in a place with my cup. After all, he was one of the 12 sages, one of the ministers who supported the king, who Touya simply commanded to be killed.
But Lord Touya, Lord Zamuda is one of the 12 sages. We can't so easily...
According to reports, Zamuda treated his slave miserably and tried to reach out to the Rus women because his slave had died. Surin happened to encounter the scene and stopped it before things got any worse, but it hurts my heart when I think about the feelings of the woman who suffered the damage. According to Zamuda's apology, it was the woman who invited him. I believe that. It's suspicious to think there's any woman who'd be charmed by that guy. Rus women have strong bodies, so he probably noticed that. As such, certain laws would apply and he'd be sentenced to death. Yes, if Zamuda were an ordinary man, this flow of things would not be shocking at all. I mean, okay, I know Touya's going off the deep end here, but honestly, just because you have a special position doesn't mean you should get off scot-free, and the same law should apply to you as it does to ordinary people, so I'm kind of okay with it.
Be it a minister or whoever, he violated the law set by the king. Of course he'd be put to death. But...
Both I and the Chamberlain Mole were too confused to follow the second phase. In the past, I felt that Touya also had a ruthless side as a king. However, it was the first time I saw him clearly give the order to kill. Mole was surprised, and it doesn't seem like he was holding back in front of me. For the time being, I don't think Touya was doing anything miserable to anyone he didn't like. Perhaps it was Noel who had played that role until now. Touya's presence may have seemed to shine like the sun, as the political assistant with his icy smile was always beside him and making judgments. Maybe that was also Noel's intention. Come off as ruthless to make Touya's impression that of a tough but tolerant king. It's ironic that for the first time, I came to think that Noel's intentions were correct. If the order came directly from Touya, the anger of those connected with Minister Zamuda would be focused on him. Touya, are you really okay with that? I asked, even knowing that women aren't allowed to participate in politics. Touya slurped his morning tea deliciously, and answered with a pretense that it was trivial.
The law is the law. It's natural to impose a stipulated punishment on those who disobey.
The sun is bright, and the wind is moderately warm and drowsy. It is my beloved husband who smiles in front of me. Even though it was the usual morning, I was struck by a strong sense of discomfort. A mysterious thing hidden in a peaceful space. It looks like this from the pillars and the shadow of the furniture. A strange illusion squeezes my sweaty palms. I wonder if Touya is the kind of person who smiles when ordering executions. I feel like I'm watching a person I should know well through a thin curtain. When I looked through the other side of the curtain, Touya stared at me and tilted his neck. While holding the cup in his hand, he smiled and made himself laugh. I felt a strange sense of déjà vu in that figure, and my lips that smiled back seemed to be pursed. No, I'm sure it's just the shocking development that confuses my heart. Certainly the law is the law, so Touya's judgment may be correct as a king. I have some thoughts about the life-threatening punishment, but it's not something I can say. You really don't have to ask for Noel's judgment, right?
I am the king. If the king says it's okay, the political assistant can't say otherwise. Well then, Mul, have Zamuda executed before the afternoon bell. Yes.
It was an easy way to say it, as if to instruct the contents of lunch. I felt the feeling of strangeness that I couldn't wipe away swelling up again in my chest, and I gradually became stuffy. Touya?
Something the matter?
Maybe you're really tired? Touya's worked really hard up to now, and perhaps he's exhausted mentally. Maybe he's pushing himself too hard now as well, and he's trying to hide his mental instabilities. This prediction was denied with a big smile.
No. Having my beloved queen by my side every morning gives me strength. I feel particularly refreshed this morning.
After drinking tea, Touya stands up and turns behind me, sitting. He hugged me softly from behind, covering my back, and spoke in a soft voice.
It's like after casting away heavy things.
Yeah. The voice blown into my ears sounds gentle as usual. Even so, I can't calm down at all. Where I should feel comfortable, I just remember the unpleasant chills. The buzzing at the bottom of my stomach is an emotion that I cannot explain. Sticky and thorny things seem to rise up to the throat as I swallow raw spit.
Naala?
I was surprised to be called by name. Is it a fever this morning that makes me feel uncomfortable at being hugged? As I was so confused, Touya's hand, which had been turned before, followed my arm and stroked my nape. That's ticklish. Smiling wryly at the playful movements, I could feel the vibrations that seemed to have come from Touya laughing in the back of his throat. The fingertips that traced my throat went around the back of the neck, tracing the boundaries of my bones one by one and stimulating the skin a little stronger.
For me.
A voice that resembles a soliloquy falls as he raises his chin. His slippery hand softly stroked my throat this time. Ah, yes, the obsession with necks and breaking them. It's always a delight.
Your delicate neck. When will it break? Do I care?
My neck won't break so easily.
No, I'm sure it would. For example, if I put all my strength into it, I'm sure I could choke you out. Because you are more beautiful than anyone else, I'm worried that someone who wants to monopolize that brilliance will take you away.
There's no such person.
Your self-esteem is way too low. If I'm not careful, it will happen someday.
Even though he spoke in cheerful tones, this made me uncomfortable for some reason. The chills that came up from my feet ran up my skin and made me quiver. You have a very strange imagination today.
It's not just about today. I'm always worried about you.
Touya separates while speaking as if teasing, and the strength of my shoulders is relaxed. Then I realize that I was being weak and nervous for no reason. I am an idiot. It is Touya, after all. I moved my cheek muscles consciously to deceive myself. When I smiled at Touya, who'd turned to face me, I checked to see if it were a natural expression.
Then it's about time to go.
Yeah, let's go. But I can't settle down. Unable to sit still, I pace back and forth between the large rooms. 2 round trips, 3 round trips. Even after 4 round trips, I still can't calm down. Somehow, this feeling of restlessness. As a matter of fact, I have been feeling like this many times. From the night that Surin visited, I've been suffering from this kind of discomfort. Well, it was Surin. Moreover, this discomfort is growing to a size I cannot ignore. He said he wasn't tired earlier, but maybe he's got a problem that he can't tell me about. It's not good to leave an emotional gap between a married couple. If there's something bothering Touya mentally, he should share it while it's still light. And if Touya is worried about something, I want to help. When I nodded alone, I walked toward the desk where Touya's belongings were stored. I thought it was bad to search through it without permission, but as long as he won't talk to me, I wouldn't be able to make a breakthrough without doing this. I resolved in my heart to apologize to Touya later and open the desk drawer. The first row is medicine-related documents. The second row is also research materials. The third row is... When I put my hand in the back of the third row, I saw a thick spine, probably some kind of reference book. In the drawer, filled with medicine-related documents, it's a strange presence. I took it out carefully so as not to tear it, and slowly turned it over. The second month, the 13th fire. This is probably a diary. Looking at the written letters, it was a sure bet that Touya wrote this. Yeah, reading the diary without permission is not good, but now that I've started, I can't help but to want to know the rest. My eyes darted back and forth several times, and ultimately I decided to read on. And so our fate was sealed. The second month, the 13th fire.
Today, Touya talked a lot about the outside world. What kind of flowers are blooming outside? What kind of animals are walking around? There seems to be a lot more that I don't know in this world. I imagine the animals in the flower garden and meadows, and one day I want to see them with my own eyes.
The outside world. I wonder if he means outside the castle. But there's something weird about this. Did he refer to himself in third person when he was younger? And that's not all. What's written here are imaginings and longings for the outside world. If he were talking about an imaginary world, that would make sense. And then he's referring to himself in third person. With an unpleasant feeling that cannot be shaken off, I slid my finger across the paper and turned the page. I keep telling myself that I'd feel better if I kept reading.
The second month, the 15th fire. Touya is amazing. He's always surrounded by people who yearn for him. With his sunlight glow, everyone will love him and want to be around him. I wish I could have been born like Touya.
You weren't born like Touya? This is weird. This is definitely Touya's writing. It's like I'm reading the diary of someone watching Touya. The sensation of itching pierces the back of my neck. I want to get rid of this feeling as soon as possible, so I turn the pages while holding my quivering hands.
The third month, the first fire. Noel came by to teach me to study today. During, he said this: "You are very intelligent, but you're lacking mentally." What did he mean by that? Well, whatever. I can't go outside anyway, so whatever I'm lacking won't bother anyone. After that, a butterfly wandered into the room. I was so happy that I interrupted the class and chased it around the room. Noel sighed when he watched me, but he let me play. But this is such a rare chance. The butterfly I finally caught was so beautiful that I wanted to know why, so I cut the wings and observed it. Without its wings, it fell and struggled on the ground, but it gradually slowed down and then stopped moving completely. I looked at the unmoving butterfly and wondered if it would be like that when I died. I want to experiment more. I've been looking at the blue sky all the time, hoping that another butterfly would find its way inside again.
I was shocked by the contents, robbed of my breath. Is this really Touya's diary? The appearance of killing creatures innocently, like a child, is written in beautifully arranged letters. Judging by this writing, he must have been of a certain age. Being able to write so legibly, he would have been around a certain age. However, the Touya who wrote this diary is like a childlike adult. In other words, innocence in another light could be cruelty because you don't have the mind to care for others. I felt strange and trembled at the person, supposedly Touya, in the diary.
The third month, the second fire. I didn't have any visitors today, except for the caretaker. And the caretaker leaves when he's done. I'm lonely. After thinking about how to avoid having to spend my time alone, I decided to make medicines. I'll develop a medicine that'll paralyze someone without killing them. The third month, the fifth fire. I used bait to lure a little bird and tried out my prototype. I was able to confirm the effect, but it did not meet my expectations. More research is needed.
I couldn't speak anymore. My body trembled, could not move as if it were frozen. I gently swallowed and moved my stiff fingertips.
The fourth month, the third fire. Today, a new caretaker arrived. The caretaker was a handmaiden this time, which is unusual. But she's kind of a weirdo. She keeps talking to me no matter how much I ignore her. And when I tried to squish the butterflies as usual, she slapped my hand, saying that I shouldn't. I felt like I wanted to murder her for a moment, but it was the first time anyone ever slapped my hands, so I forgot my murderous intent and stared at her face in a daze. It might be fun to watch her. I decided to stop experimenting with her and keep observing for a while. It seems that her name is Samal. The 5th month, the 20th fire. I haven't been able to write a diary for the past few days, so I'll write it while remembering it. A few days ago, it was a little cold, and I caught a cold. I told her to leave only the medicine and go away, but Samal continued to take care of me for a long time. It's the first time I've had such a fever. I had a high fever at night, and I thought I was on my way to the moon, but I thought that was fine. If I died, I'd be freed from this place. And when I gave up, I saw something flapping around. It's a beautiful butterfly, similar to the one I killed before. Since Samal slapped me, I haven't touched any butterflies, even ones that got lost. Thanks to that, I was able to find out why butterflies are so beautiful. It's because the butterflies fly freely in the sky. The dancing figure makes the butterflies look the most beautiful. I also want to be a butterfly and fly out of the window like that. So when I told Samal that I would die and fly freely, she cried. She said, "Don't say such a sad thing again." Then she hugged me. For the first time since that time, I felt that warmth other than Touya was good. Does Touya always get this kind of warmth? If that's the case, I wish I could be Touya. But if I become Touya, then Touya has to die. That's sad. So I don't have to be Touya. I want to be, but I can't. That's fine.
The diary ended on this day. Interesting. So he kept the diary from when he was locked up. Kept it in his room, even. I gently closed the diary and returned it to the place where it was. Apparently, if the impact is too great, people will lose their memory for a while. The next time I noticed it, the drawer was restored, but I don't remember it being tidy. I feel thirsty as the wind blows through the window into my eyes that have been astonished. After blinking several times to moisturize my eyes, I was finally able to breathe properly. I thought I was dreaming. Everything I feel now is a phantom that I'll forget when I wake up. But this is not a dream. As I repeat the contents of his diary in my head, my heart beats gradually. I tried to organize the information by holding down my heart that was beating painfully. If it was really Touya who wrote this, who is the Touya in that book? Even if there is a person with the same name, that expression is too strange. In the diary, he said that he wanted to be Touya, and that he could be Touya if Touya died. In other words, in addition to the Touya I know, there was definitely another Touya, a Touya who had elements my husband wanted. He does have something to hide from me. Perhaps the strangeness of these days may be due to this past. If so, if I know the past, I can understand Touya better? In order to continue being a married couple with Touya, I want to get rid of the ill feelings. However, if a person is hiding it, it will be difficult to ask directly and get the truth. As I pondered, I remembered the name that was also in the diary. Noel would know Touya. The other party is that Noel. He'd most likely blow me off, but if I give up before I act, nothing will be solved. But somehow, if I leave things the way they are now, I feel like I'd be going in the wrong direction. It was just a premonition without confirmation, but my instincts urged me forward. If I don't move fast, I might lose my husband Touya completely. I lowered my fist in front of my chest, raised my face, and started walking. The palm that opened the door was slightly sweaty. Are we legitimately going to Noel? Frick me, man. Oh, going to Noel of all people about this. Oh, we must truly be lost. Okay, here we go. Enter. I knocked on the door, and after a moment I was given a flat permission to enter. The cold voice almost crushed my nose, and I consciously raised my chin. I grabbed the handle with determination and slowly pushed it open. I miss this room. I'd like to talk to you about something. Do you mind?
I do not, but as you see, I am in the middle of work, so I would appreciate brevity.
From a gap in the mountain of documents, I could see Noel's snide yet beautiful face. Always need to comment. His face is gorgeous, have I mentioned it? His icy, pale blue eyes did not rise at all, looking only at the documents in hand. Even though I became the queen, he still thinks of me as an insignificant little girl. But if that's how he thinks of me, then it might be easier to get him to talk. If you're not careful, you may drop some useful information. I smile so that I don't show that expectation in my face. Thanks. Sorry to bother you while you're busy, but there's something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh? I would be pleased to be of assistance to you.
His voice seemed interested, but as usual, he was expressionless, as his line of sight didn't change. I felt that he was just trying to hurry me along. I suppressed my desire to complain and spoke calmly. Then I'll take you up on that. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit about Touya's childhood.
Why do you want to know that?
It's unusual for Noel to answer a question with a question, and I feel that his writing speed has slowed down. As he does, Noel kept his expressions and voice in check, but I felt him observing my behavior. I do hate Noel penetrating me like this. Phrasing, girl. It's only natural to want to know more about the person you love, right? Upon saying that, Noel stopped writing for the first time since I entered this room. He lifted his beautiful smile, his perfect smile with no vulnerabilities.
As you know, he was quite the cheerful lad, bright like the sun.
He put his pen down and sat back in his chair. It was a relaxed posture, as if to say there was no darkness behind it. Bright like the sun.
Yes. Would you like to listen to a story from Lord Touya's childhood days?
While asking casually, Noel picked up a cup. With him gracefully tilting his head, I didn't feel any sense of impatience. This manner of laughing, this feeling of déjà vu since the morning makes me furrow my brows. I thought about why while maintaining an expressionless face. Ah, I see. Touya resembled Noel just now. Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, did he imitated Noel, being like, I'm just hiding some things behind this beautiful facade, don't worry about it. As I understand it, I'm convinced that Touya's smile at the time was unnatural. It wasn't a heartfelt smile. No, I'm sorry to take up your time while you're so busy. Next time.
I see.
I was half just being polite, but I really did feel sorry. It's not good to take more of Noel's time, as he has a lot of work, and this may affect Touya's work. And with this reply, I understand Noel's response very well. Noel, confirming that Touya is trying to hide something, had no intention of telling the truth. Judging from the content of the diary, it would be strange for Noel to say he was like the sun if he were willing to talk, and I was able to confirm one more thing. I expected the political assistant, Noel, to affirm Touya's intentions. However, the previous response was an excessive defensive reaction from Noel. He could have just waved me off, but instead he tried to tell me a story from his childhood. In other words, it can be inferred that Touya's past is a part that even Noel wants to hide and does not want to be explored. In that case, it's better to leave before provoking any further. Thanks for listening to me today. Please excuse me.
No, you are quite welcome.
As I walked to the door, I felt Noel's gaze on my back the whole time. And now the bullseye is on us. Being alone, I finally allowed the strength to drain from my shoulders. I'm pretty sure that Noel is the only person in the world who makes me so nervous being alone with him. Standing in front of his frosty blue eyes, I feel like he's looking straight through my chest. For the time being, I have to think about other methods. The only thing I learned from the previous story is that Noel is also hiding something and will never reveal it to me. I'm sure there's something. I couldn't find a way to find out, so I sighed and looked into the sky. There was a cloudless blue sky that contrasted with my heart. Well, 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 here's somebody with no filter. I was thinking, like, if we're gonna get anything from anybody, it's gonna be this guy. But then, this is the line you decide to come in with. You brat.
You sign over your love for me. If you decide to jump ship, I'll always welcome you.
Thanks. Surin! Suddenly hearing a voice from behind, I'm surprised with a slightly exaggerated expression. Indulging in, though, I didn't notice Surin's approach. Or in thought, maybe instead of in, though. Even so, what he said is dangerous to someone who is supposed to be the queen, and within the castle, no less. His audacity knows no bounds, girl. You never change. Touya will have your head if you say such things. I spoke, intending it to be a joke. So when Surin's eyes were narrowed, I tilted my head without knowing why. What?
Something happened between you and Touya.
My heart froze. He was too on the money, so I couldn't find a good counter-argument, and my voice almost turned over. Why?
You used to think that Touya would never hurt his friends, but now that doesn't seem to be the case. In other words, something changed your impression of him. Is that why you were sighing just now?
That's... I took a breath and thought about how to answer. If Surin is similar to Noel, asking carelessly would be dangerous. As I was thinking, he beat me to the punch.
Oh, I'd love to listen to what you gotta say, but since a certain someone is keeping me up at night with his difficult requests, I'd probably forget whatever you say now.
Someone like you?
If you don't believe me, follow me to my bed and watch carefully.
I smile wryly at his casual flirting. Is that what that was? Even if there's ulterior motive behind those purple eyes, I'm just glad to have someone I can talk to now. Surin of all people. Yikes. The day coming when I'd be thankful to Surin. What's happened to my life? Right? Oh my goodness. What a predicament. I opened my mouth, choosing my words carefully. You have a long relationship with Touya, right? Can you tell me what his childhood was like?
When he was a kid.
There are shallow wrinkles between Surin's eyebrows. I thought it was a reaction similar to Noel for a moment, but looking closely I can see that it is different. From that expression, it seemed like a feeling of repulsion, as if I touched on something he didn't want to remember. Maybe he does know something? Noel's a dead end, but Surin might talk. I sigh and get ready to accept the truth. The following words shattered my expectations.
If you want to be with Touya, it's better that you don't know. If you stop here, he won't take actions.
Huh? What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'd like to save you, but you wouldn't be happy by my side.
What are you saying? What would you be saving me from? Even asking, Surin made a difficult face and refused to answer. My faint hope turned into disappointment, and the clear sky of my heart was again surrounded by black clouds. Hey, Surin. He turned his back to me, shaking me off as I tried to cling to hope.
Anyway, stop digging into his past. It'll destroy your happiness.
Wait, Surin! He didn't stop at me calling after him as his wide back strolled away. All that was left behind was a stunned me and an eerie prophecy. It'll destroy your happiness? Even my own voice that I repeated sank in my chest like a spell. Ultimately, I couldn't get any info from Surin or Noel. I returned to the room full of anxiety. Those two are definitely hiding something about Touya, but but it doesn't look like I'll be able to get the truth out of either of them. As my spirits dropped, I heard a familiar voice from the corner of the room.
Welcome home.
Ah, you're home early today. I didn't think Touya would be back in the room at this time. I feel a little guilty about moving around in secret, but I am happy to see his face. I lightly run over to him, and he greets me with a soft smile.
It's because I got my hands on some good booze.
Touya raised the liquor bottle in his hand, showing me. He was holding a cup in his other hand, fully ready to drink. Now? But what about work?
Don't worry about it. Today's work is all done.
Really? Well, it's a bit early, but let's drink. I shake away the remaining unease in my heart and wet my palate with the drink that Touya poured for me. It was a sweet fruit wine, with a fresh scent that passed through my nose, easy to drink. This alcohol really is delicious. Its smooth taste helped me in drinking too much of it. My mood improving with the drink, I completely forgot the unpleasantness this afternoon. Getting into the flowing conversation, I allowed myself to relax and laughed for the first time in a while.
I had this brand brought in from the West, thinking you might like it.
Eh? All that trouble for me?
Yeah, I wanted to see your smiling face.
Thank you. That must have taken some effort. Speaking of the West, I believe there are several island nations and continents. I've only heard about it, never been there, but the smell of the alcohol gives me the feel of a distant foreign atmosphere.
If for the sake of my lovely princess, it's no trouble at all.
Really, thank you. Saying thank you in earnest seems to make me a little weaker. I must have drank too much. I'm feeling a little dizzy. I hold my forehead and rest my powerless body in the chair. I might have drank too much. My body felt burning hot. My face must be bright red to match.
By the way, Naala.
My reply to being called by name is so sloppy. Even though I knew it was impossible, I couldn't simply bring back the power I'd let drain from my body. But, with one simple utterance. Yes? What? I just said hello. Nothing to worry about. No cages are needed at this time.
It seems you met with Noel and Surin today.
I snapped out of it as if someone had thrown cold water over my head. Did he hear that from Noel? But it's not like I was doing anything wrong. I did happen to run into them. Well, that's somewhat true for Surin, at least.
I see.
Touya quickly withdrew and didn't seem too bothered about it. Looking at his usual smiling face calmed me down. Thank goodness.
Oh, right. I forgot. I brought some food that I thought would taste good with the alcohol.
He stands up and prepares more alcohol and snacks. Looking at Touya's back, I once again felt guilt crossing my brow. I get the feeling I shouldn't dig any deeper into this. But if this is how I feel, shouldn't I just ask him directly? Having reached my conclusion, I asked something I had been wondering for a while. Something I had been laying my eyes on night after night. Hey, Touya, that old scar on your stomach, how did you get it? When we met back in the flower garden, you said you had a serious stomach injury and you wouldn't be able to come. Touya's movement stops, and the small plates that collided with each other let out their own scream. It wasn't as loud as a breaking noise, but it still echoed throughout the room. There was a silence after the sound that felt as if time itself had come to a screeching halt. From my position, Touya had his back turned, so I couldn't see his face. We like to imagine he was still looking like this, probably. But the tense feeling coming from him. From this tense atmosphere, I can tell I'd asked a sensitive question. Touya,
If you're asking me this, that means that you're in love with the past version of me.
I tried to say something to interrupt the awkwardness, but he cut me off at a speed that wouldn't allow for smoke and mirrors. Touya slowly raised his head, never turning towards me, facing the wall.
Am I not good enough for you the way I am now?
Perhaps it was absorbed by the wall, but his voice didn't have his usual gentleness and familiarity. It was a strange sound. Or maybe I'm imagining things due to being drunk. I felt a cool anger in the sound that reached my ears. No, that's not it. The uneasy feeling that had subsided came roaring back. If I didn't disagree, everything would come to a halt. I felt that, but I felt suffocated by the pressure. I opened my mouth. I just wanted to know more about you. Was that an unpleasant question for you? Unnatural silence for a few seconds. I couldn't even approach that stiff back of his, and I could feel my own heartbeat getting tenser and faster. His crimson hair swayed as Touya lowered his head. His hands that had been handling the dishes moved fluidly, as if that pause in time had been nothing more than an illusion.
There's nothing you could do that would make me feel unpleasant. That wound healed well and cleanly. That's really all there is to it. Don't you think so?
Yeah. That tense feeling before. Perhaps that was all in my head. Touya finished his preparation and turned around with his usual cheerful smile.
Then, let's have another drink.
Seeing Touya pour the drink with a smile as if nothing had happened, I couldn't possibly ask about what brought about the silence. Thank you. Let's drink. All I could do was smile together with Touya. No. To be honest, I was a little afraid to try and approach that chilly feeling and anger again. As such, a fitting end would be waiting for those of us too weak to face each other. Yeah, the fitting end is what? Huh? What should be a refreshing morning. But I feel something is off. God damn it. I knew it was coming. I knew we were going to be chained to a bed. But like here, I thought for sure he was going to take her to the dungeon basement. Oh, Lord. Whew, let's try that again. The dungeon basement bedroom. That's what I was trying to say. At least Null was smart and like hid her away. He didn't have the audacity to keep her in his own room. Except that one ending. But like, Touya. I mean, you are the king. I guess you're just like, so what? My wife's chained up in my bedroom. You got a problem with it? Execution, baby. Alright, here we go. In searching for the reason why, I pulled the covers away and found shackles on my ankles. The shackles were chained to the bed pillar. Okay, hands are free, just feet. Basically, I've been restrained. What? A normal morning, my normal room, just having my feet be chained up. It was so unrealistic, my mind couldn't quite process it. We'll see you meet with other guys now, girl. I immediately tried to remove them, but they wouldn't budge. These were strong steel shackles, and there was no way of removing them without the key. No. No way. What is this? Huh? What? What? Why? As I began to wrestle with the shackles, feeling panic setting in, I heard the door open. I tried to run to it, but then remembered my reality like a dog on its leash.
Good morning. You're finally awake.
Touya. What is this?
It's such a wonderful morning. Let's have breakfast together.
It's not like he can't see these shackles, but despite that, he begins preparing breakfast as if he can't see them at all. Where's Uru?
Oh, I've given him a different job.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, Uru would not stand for this. A different job?
All you need is me, right?
Looking at that radiant smile, I was certain. Touya put these shackles on me. It could only have been him. Why? What's the meaning of this? I was confused and my thoughts disorganized. This is gentle Touya, who always respected my wishes. I had no idea how he could do something so terrible. It had to be some kind of joke. Touya, what is this? I asked while suppressing the chill sneaking up my spine. I lifted my foot slightly and heard the eerie sound of the chains rubbing together.
You don't like those shackles?
Hi. We get a picture for this? Delightful. Giving me Jafar and Jasmine vibes, not gonna lie. That's not what I'm asking. Why have you put these things on me?
I did it for us, of course.
He says this with his usual gentle smile, but it's too normal, giving him an odd feeling that's a little frightening. The shackles were the only thing out of place in this familiar setting. Everything else was business as usual, making for a strange, cold feeling. That doesn't make sense. Please, take these off. I was afraid to ask too seriously. It would make this too real. So I said it with a bitter smile. I was hoping he would say that this was all some joke.
Why?
But the reply I got back was completely unexpected. Why? With these on, I can't go anywhere.
You don't need to go anywhere.
What are you saying? Touya interrupts my questions with his lips. He forcibly lifts my head and puts his tongue in my surprised, open mouth. I'm confused, but Touya chases after my tongue as I try to avoid his. He catches it and sucks on it so hard that it hurts. I let out a muffled voice. After having his way with my mouth, Touya then pushes me down onto the bed. Damn, how did we get this, like, back-to-back bad endings? But it's Touya this time. No! I'm overwhelmed with fear. I try to escape, but that reminds me of the current predicament. In this condition, I can't resist at all. As I rampaged, he stared at me with cold, unfeeling eyes. Eyes that were colder than if they were empty, hollow husks. Feelings, chills throughout my whole body. I was instinctively scared. No! Pushing with all my might, his lips finally came off mine. There might have been a bit of tearing, and the edges stung a bit. I felt like I could cry. What happened to you? Come back to your senses!
There's nothing to come back to. I am in my senses.
His cheerful smile disappoints. It usually puts me at ease, but this time I only felt discomfort. It was like I was looking at a completely different person with Touya's face. There's nothing sane about this at all. Please, hurry up and take these off.
Why are you so angry? Oh, are you pouting because I did it by myself?
This is no time for jokes! Touya put his index finger to my screaming mouth in a loving motion. Having stopped my movement, Touya traced my cheeks with his lips, and in a horribly cheerful voice whispered,
Is it a joke?
His next words robbed me of the ability to think. What is with the back-to-back, once you become a mother, then, only then shall you belong to me? What is going on with this? Sheesh.
Once you give birth, I'll allow you to walk around within the castle grounds. But I'm never letting you go outside again.
What? That was... He just said something unfathomably terrifying. The emotional damage was far too strong, and I couldn't move, as if my brains had rusted over. All two of my brains. While I stared at him, he kissed my eyelids. I felt like we had to talk about this, but as I desperately tried to speak, my tongue was licked again. I shook my head to signal refusal, but then he just sucked on it harder.
I love you.
Words of love that don't need my feelings. He was close enough for me to wrap my arms around him, but Touya felt so far away. How did this happen? Why? How did we get here? These questions sank me to the pits of despair. Swaying? swaying? In my depressed consciousness, I was being held and shaken by someone. Swaying. 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 The arms that wrap around me are stiff and gentle as if handling a fragile object. What's happening now? Feels nice. I think I felt relieved for the first time in a long while. The feeling of being held in someone's gentle arms and taken away somewhere. Step by step, going down somewhere. With each step, the surroundings became darker, which was comforting to me as I was half asleep. Where are we going? I asked in an inarticulate voice, but received no reply. Only the sound of footsteps echoed far, far away. Hey, we made it back, baby! The thin sunlight stimulates the backs of my eyelids, awakening me to crawl out of the swamp. But the heavy sleepiness that clings to my body is not peeling off. I slowly open my eyes and look around. The walls are dark. There is only one window, high up. Where? A room I'm unfamiliar with. It takes time to turn my head. Right. I'm chained up. As my thoughts and senses gradually returned, I even remembered the feeling of despair, and tears came to my eyes. I shrank my body, as if holding my upper arms. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to remember.
Are you awake?
And yet the voice that shook my thoughts emanated from close by.
You were out for a while, so I was worried.
Where is this? I asked Touya as he smiled as usual.
This is my room.
Yours?
Yeah, that's right.
Touya nods calmly with an air of open-handedness. The alarm bells in my head keep ringing with an attitude that is contrary to the situation. Whoa, those eyes! Dang, that is a very unsettling phase. Can I just say, like, that is, like, sleep paralysis demon worthy. Like, that's gonna haunt me tonight.
And from now on, this will be the room you live in. Forever.
It's still going. What more do you have to do with this? I think it's pretty clear we're on a bad ending by now. How much more do you got for me, game? Touya came every night after locking me in here. He would hold me gently, push me down, and repeatedly say that he is doing it for me. Pretending as if he doesn't care about my wishes. It was a mixture of frustration, sadness, and swirling emotions that made me feel like black, murky water was building up in my chest. I closed my mouth to try to kill the black water that was rushing up from the back of my throat, but it eventually overflowed from eyes and spilled out. There's another chapter? Excuse me? Game, we get it. It's horrible now. Release me.
There. Now you're clean.
The warm, compassionate voice is horrifying. Now Touya was doing everything, from cleaning my body to brushing my hair. Nasla's on fire, but it's fine.
My dear queen, stay with me like this, forever.
Touya whispers these words to me many times a day. I felt crushed by the sweetness that enters my ears. I can't stand this anymore! Let me out! I scream, unable to bear it anymore. With tears streaming down my face, I cursed my own stupidity. Hey, why? Why are you doing this? I really am an idiot. Or maybe I've gone mad. Even though I've been treated this horribly, I still love Touya, still believe in him. Say something. I hate Touya's selfishness when he treats me badly, but I still can't give up a ray of hope. Stupid thoughts, such as, maybe he'll go back to his usual gentle self, run through my head every morning. However, I've gotten tired of these expectations.
I understand. Let's take off these chains.
Really? I don't know why he suddenly changed his mind, but I was thankful to have been saved. Let's get out of this room and talk with someone. With that in mind, I headed for the door as soon as the chains were removed. But my exhausted body didn't move well, and it was like walking through water.
Where are you going?
I can't be around you now. Touya, hearing my complaint, stares at me without blinking. An eerie silence followed, and after a few moments, an inarticulate murmur was heard. Stop with the eyes, man! Oh, gosh.
On second thought.
Hmm?
Ultimately, you too would leave me.
What?
I knew there was no one who would love me. Despite that, why did I come to expect it? I was foolish.
Touya? More than ever, Touya was acting strangely. I just wanted to put our relationship back together, but it seemed to be taken in a different way. I had to tell him my true intentions, so I rushed to speak up. Touya, I still care about you. Maybe it was too late to say I love you. Touya caught me in a daze as I tried to escape, reattached my shackles, turned away, and walked out of the room. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but that's how I deal with trauma, okay? I listened to the sound of the door closing with despair. His back spoke, a resounding rejection. What and where did it all go wrong? I felt my eyes darken as if I had been pushed down into a bottomless valley. In the days since then, Touya has completely stopped speaking. Sheesh, who is running the country now? He visits this room as usual, but he just hugs me, stares at me, makes one-sided love to me, and leaves. As I gave up talking to Touya, and as the days went by without a word, I gradually became numb to the date. It is said that when people are unable to communicate with anyone, their spirit becomes more and more debilitated. Trying to smile to myself at my new discovery, which I am not at all happy about, I find myself unable to even do that. I wonder how everyone is doing. One day, when all my sensations began to blur, I stiffened on my bed at the sound of footsteps, different from what I was used to hearing, entered my ears. This gate was not that of Touya's. The door slowly opens with the sound of footsteps peeking around as I catch sight of an unexpected face. You, of all people. Hi. How?
You're looking pretty rough there.
Surin!
I told you. Don't go digging around.
I might finally be released from here. Expectations rise as I rush to Surin without thinking, but the shackles on my legs get in the way and I almost fall. The taut chains rattled as if they were accusing me.
Don't overdo it. I'm going.
What do you mean you just came here to say, like, I told you so and leave? Slowly closing the distance, Surin came to about 3 steps away and stopped walking. The room, now devoid of footsteps, is enveloped in a strange silence with only the sound of each other's breathing echoing. As Surin stared at me, there was no anger or sympathy in his eyes, simply just a strong will. How do you know about this place?
Touya was my best friend. I know about everything.
Was? Is he saying that they're no longer best friends? or by the time I was brought here that they were no longer friends. Either way, Surin is the only one I can count on right now. It may anger Touya, but with Surin's help, I can get out of here and possibly persuade Touya. I looked at him wistfully, and Surin responded in a heavy voice.
Today, I came here to confirm your resolve.
Resolve?
Yeah. Your resolve to kill Touya.
I was at a loss for words as I took a big, blinding breath. The shiver that ran from my knees also numbed my lips.
You still love him, even in this situation.
After plenty of silence, Surin continued with decisive intensity.
He's not going back to the way he was. That's my conclusion.
So, I have to kill him.
If that's what you want.
What I want? Touya's death? My vision is blurred by the violent upheaval. Surin's voice softens a little as if to quiet it down.
I'd love to say it's all for my sake, but even if I did, you'd continue to beat yourself up over it. So, that's why. I'll kill him, for your sake.
When I remained silent, Surin did not say anything more. However, I came to realize what he meant when he used the word resolve. You'd do that for a woman who doesn't love you. It wasn't sarcasm. I was genuinely curious. Surin snickered at me with a raised eyebrow and cowered his shoulders.
I guess love makes you weak.
I don't get it at all.
Well, I got my own reasons, but there's no need to tell you about that now.
He further closed the distance and looked at me from a step away. He first asked with his gaze, and then asked for my decision with words.
Choose. His death or liberation.
My palms were sweating slowly. My throat was dry as if running in the desert, and my knees shook pitifully. Aren't you bitter about losing Touya? My emotions ran high, and tears formed at the corners of my eyes. Upon seeing this, Surin grabbed his once outstretched hand and spoke in a small voice.
This is also my own compassion.
Compassion?
Some people find it harder to live.
If I say, do it, now, Surin really will kill Touya. It is neither hatred nor pity, but rather Surin's own love for Touya. As soon as I realized that, Touya's death became a reality. Touya would die. Moreover, he'd be killed at my request. Holding my intensely aching chest, I reaffirmed my feelings. Even in this situation, I still love Touya. Even if he doesn't speak, the tenderness in his palms gives me hope that one day he'll return to normal. Unbearable sobs leak from the gaps between my teeth. Rather than suffer like this, taking Surin up on his offer would let me walk a brighter path. Despite that, my heart wouldn't let me choose the kill Touya option.
I'll come again.
I couldn't reach a conclusion after all. Unable to deny or affirm, I just stood there in the room after Surin left. Dang, man. Surin out here like, I'll kill him. I love him and I love you, and I'll kill him. Surin's our Esta in this situation, I guess. I'm kind of glad Surin's getting a little bit of love, you know? He's been kind of ignored for a lot of the game, so having him show up here, it's kind of nice. He deserves a little bit of time. Anyway, when Touya came to my room the next day, he was in a good mood for some reason, to the point of a certain eeriness. Oh no, did you kill Surin? It had been a long time since I had seen Touya in such a good mood, so despite my fear, I spoke to him. You're in an awfully good mood today. Did something good happen?
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for asking.
Touya, with his arms outstretched and his whole body expressing joy, looks truly radiant. I even had a faint expectation that he might have returned to the previous Touya, even though such an expectation was foolish.
It's been decided to invade the island nation of the West.
Okay.
The island nation is a small but abundant country. If we can occupy it, Nasla will become more and more prosperous.
He proudly mentions his plans for invasion in a boastful manner. Touya, who'd suffered from having to kidnap women, now spoke calmly about attacking another country. That reality hit me hard. Touya may never go back to normal. The advice Surin gives me weighs heavily on me.
Ah, and there's even more good news. Surin will be commanding the Western invasion forces, which means that he won't be able to come see you for a while.
Dang it! You...
I don't know what he came to talk about, but given that it's him, he probably hasn't given up on you yet. What a terrible guy.
Why? Why, Touya? You're not this kind of person! Unable to bear it, I raised my voice. My vision fluttered and I realized I was crying, but it didn't matter. I continued to ask frantically, not caring that my face is messed up with tears. Why?
I decided to stop pretending.
A cold voice echoes around the area, as if all emotion has been drained out of it. His words, which could be taken as a rebuttal, struck me without emotion.
Kindness is useless. You can only get what you want by force.
Touya, are you being serious right now? I knew I didn't have to ask, but I couldn't give up and went for it.
I'm always serious.
The answer I got back was the same, and it made me despair. I moved my trembling lips and clutched at them, wondering if I could somehow draw out a different response. You were a kind person once.
The one who was kind was Touya, not me.
Touya? Touya didn't answer, even when called by name.
The only people who can get anything out of kindness are those who are truly kind. They offer genuine kindness, and the same genuine kindness will be returned. So an ugly person like me can't get what he wants without using his power.
The palm that gently touches my cheek feels warm yet cold. His voice even sounded terrible, shaking my eardrums and spreading throughout my whole body. Touya! The fingertip that brushed my lips scooped up the flowing tears and carried them to Touya's mouth.
I love you.
Even though you don't want my heart or my words. I hate this Touya who speaks of love, but even still, I can't give up my love for him. Amazed at my own stupidity, my tears just flow. Touya kissed my wet cheek and left the room quietly. Great. Hi. More visitors, please. Let's just keep going. It's like a whole nother game, this bad end.
How are you doing, Her Majesty?
To my surprise, it was Noel who brought me my meal the following day. I'm surprised Touya gave you permission to enter this room.
Lord Touya is quite busy today, so I was ordered to take care of you. Please eat your meal. You won't eat? That's quite bothersome. Lord Touya will be upset with me.
Even seeing me in chains, Noel had his usual attitude. No! Actually, he might be in a better mood than usual. Frick you, dude. A man who can be in a good mood in front of someone who is suffering really is a creep. I opened my mouth even though I knew it was useless to say anything. Noel, you care about Touya, right?
Yes, very much so.
Then you tell him! What he's doing now is wrong!
What is wrong?
It's crazy to think that that kind man would invade! You really think so too, don't you? In contrast to my tense voice, Noel was quite calm. On the contrary, he shrugged his shoulders as if he were chiding a student for their inadequacies. I was horrified by the look in his eyes, that almost even seemed gentle.
I'm afraid you misunderstand. While Lord Touya is quite important to me, he is not my first priority. My first priority is to the country. To Nasla.
What? I tilt my head at his unexpected response. Is it possible that this man was not even on Touya's side, let alone mine?
Lord Touya was too kind. As a person, that would be the greatest beauty of all. But as a king, he was too soft. I have always been frustrated by that part of him. But now, having come this far, I am very pleased with his decisions. I can't say enough wonderful things about it. From now on, we can take women from the Western Island as we please.
If you do that, the people of that country will oppose you.
There is no need for concern. That country is currently in the midst of a civil war, and the state is in shambles. It's as if there's no government at all. By the time the people would be able to oppose, they would all be under Nasla rule.
That's terrible. Were you the one who advised Touya?
No. This invasion was decided entirely by Lord Touya, after having given it much thought.
What?
I simply just agreed with his decision.
How could this... I realized how naive I was to expect that his mentor and right-hand man, Noel, might have been any sort of salvation for me. Is there no one who can stop Touya anymore? As I thought about this, a face suddenly came to mind. What about Surin? What does Surin have to say about this? Surin, the military commander, would be in a position to challenge these two. If Surin wasn't willing to participate in this invasion, there may still be a way to avoid it. As I clung to hope in this way, Noel's cynical smile knocked me down.
There is no need to worry about that. He will never defy Lord Touya again. He seems to care about Her Majesty very much.
What do you mean by that? My throat dries up with a bad feeling. My fingertips tremble. I manage to suppress my desire to cover my ears and stare intently at the man in front of me.
Actually, it seems that a rat was able to come in here. He was concerned about it, so I informed him. Please be assured that we will strengthen security and prevent any more rats from entering again. Oh, and if a rat should get in again, we'll get rid of all of them with bait. So rest assured your concerns have been addressed.
In other words, upon learning that Surin had come to see me, he had been threatened. If you meet her again, I'll kill you and the queen. That's... I understand, with a shudder. I have become a shackle to the only person with the power to solve the problem. It was a moment of realization that all hope was gone.
What's wrong? Have you fallen ill?
I was so depressed after Noel left that I couldn't even eat.
Did Noel say something mean to you? Poor baby. I'll comfort you.
Saying that, he hugged me, stroked my head, and kissed me. Not even having the strength to resist, I was at Touya's mercy.
Well, if you don't want to eat, how about a drink?
A drink?
Yeah. I brought you some alcohol that will help you to sleep comfortably.
I could hear the liquor bottle shaking at eye level and the liquid inside making a churning sound.
See? It's a beautiful color.
The alcohol poured into the cup was an amber color that I had never seen before, and was so beautiful that I was entranced.
Here, drink up.
No longer willing to disobey, I silently accepted it and stared at the shimmering liquid. If I drink this, will I be more comfortable? I slowly put my lips to the rim of the cup. It must have been a very strong drink, because my throat and stomach felt unusually hot after swallowing it.
It's going to be okay. This will make you feel better.
My vision fluctuated immediately, and I felt nauseous as if I was being dragged into the ground. As I reached out for support in a world that had become unstable, a large hand grasped back and pulled me into a firm chest.
My dear queen, sleep well.
My eyelids slowly fall as they are invaded by sweet whispers. Yeah, I'm tired. I didn't want to stay in a wobbly world any longer, so I let go of my consciousness. Shut up! There's another chapter! Final chapter, Crimson! For me stabbing myself and the blood coming out. Finally, please. How long has it been? A narrow world also narrowed the range of thought. A week, a month. I no longer have any awareness of the passage of time. It's troublesome just thinking about it. While I'm locked up, he continues to pour his poison love into me. A life that can only enjoy what is given, deprived of the power of thought. I can't decide anything by myself, so I don't feel like deciding anything. How long has it been since I've spoken proper words? I can't remember. If Touya doesn't understand me, then there's no point in talking. I might have given up on life somewhat. And I'm terribly tired. I lay down on the bed to look at the window near the ceiling, the only source of light. I really am a prisoner. I'm trapped in here, with no light. I wish I could just close my eyes and end everything. There's no light ahead of me. With that in mind, it was when I closed my eyes. Is this it?
Yes, here. There's no mistaking it.
Of course we'd be doubtful. It's this kid who looked it up. That may be true, but... Suddenly, I felt like I heard a voice. People? Here?
Yes, that's right. From the map, it should be here.
It's in a low position. It's underground. Locking her up in a place like this. I'll never forgive him. You've gotta be kidding me. My friends and Uru came to save my butt? Really? No way. They came? Hearing familiar voices gradually revived my emotions. Naala! Can you hear me? Naala! To think she's been kept here.
Her Majesty! Can you hear my voice?
Shalu! Solana! Uru! You are in there! I'm here! I'm here! I feel like I've spoken for the first time in a long time. I spoke as if in a hurry. Everyone! Did you come to rescue me? Yes, we have! You disappeared, so we've been looking for you! And Mr. Uru helped us out a lot. Oh, how did this happen?
Are you okay, Her Majesty?
Everyone. Ah, the sound of human voices. Other people I can talk to. Naala, listen carefully. There was a rubbing sound, as it seems like Shalu took out something. I also heard the sound of stepping on soil.
Shalu!
Sorry, but shut up for a minute. Hey, I'm gonna throw something in now, so keep your head down and watch out for it. Shalu? You ready? Yeah. When I waited as instructed, a flat cylindrical object fell from the window near the ceiling. It made a dry noise as it fell to the floor. A dagger? I couldn't bring in something that was too big, but that should be more than enough.
Miss Shalu!
I'm sorry, Mr. Uru. We've come to deceive you.
Wait, you knew about this, Miss Solana?
Yes. Ugh. I could imagine Uru biting his lips with a choked voice. I picked up the blade and listened to their interaction in a stunned state. You do know what to do with that, right? What? You gotta kill the Nasla king.
Miss Shalu! I would never do anything like murder Lord Touya.
You don't want to help her?
But this isn't what we talked about.
There's no difference. It's the Nasla king that's got her locked up.
But...
You've been helping out because you wanted to help her, right? Naala, listen carefully. Once you get outside, run to the postern. There should be a horse there. Right, Uru? No, Shalu! If I do this, then Uru...
I hate that Her Majesty is forced to live like this.
Uru, where would it be okay to be content with this kind of treatment? I'll never forgive him treating you like an object. Shalu. I agree with Shalu this time. Solana too. This kind of treatment is too terrible.
Her Majesty, I am a citizen of Nasla, but I want to be an ally to Her Majesty. So please, follow your heart. Don't worry about me. Just run away. I want you to find peace in your heart. That is my wish.
Uru.
Please.
The dagger in my hands gained additional weight at Uru's prayer-like words. Shalu! Mr. Uru! We have to go! Everyone! Okay, you've got one shot at this. Suddenly, the presence above me became hectic. Eventually, I could no longer hear people's voices or footsteps. One shot. One shot. At Touya. I feel like she'll stab herself rather than him. I tried to say it, but the reality wasn't setting in. The dagger is sharp. So sharp that the skin could be cut just by touching it. It's long enough to reach a beating heart if thrust in. I will... If I kill Touya, I can get out of here. I can't get out of here unless I kill Touya. Oh, he's coming down! The footsteps are mercilessly approaching while I'm wondering what to do. I squeezed the dagger in my hand and stared at the entrance while trembling.
Are you awake?
My heart raced. My field of vision converged on Touya's face, as I'm struck by the illusion of the surroundings becoming darker.
What is that?
His line of sight turned to my hand. Touya glanced, then pursed his lips and gradually clenched his fist. In a time that felt stretched out, I could clearly see the color of his eyes becoming darkened.
Why do you have such a thing here?
No, that's not...
What's not it?
As I stepped back, Touya approached. I shook my head at the closing distance.
So ultimately, you too will refuse me.
That's not...
What's not it?
Sharp anger echoes on the stone wall. A silver light flashes with a cool sound. I realized in the dark that Touya's sword had been pulled out. Touya!
If you're going to leave me, then it's better if...
Touya held his sword in the dark shadows. Struck by madness, my hand squeezing the handle of the dagger trembled. Touya! Please listen!
I don't want to hear it.
Touya's hand extends to my throat. There wasn't enough distance to avoid it, and my body was slammed. Ow! I was pulled down and rolled to the floor. Touya, mounting me like a horse, swung his blade up without showing any hesitation. I'm going to be killed. He'd stab me in an instant. My body shrank the moment I foresaw that. No! There's no pain in my throat. Confused, my violently shaking fingers left the handle of the dagger. The dagger that I had frantically held didn't fall to the ground. Instead, Touya collapsed beside me, the dagger stuck in his stomach. She did it! I can't believe she actually did it! Whew, sheesh. Well, that was a roller coaster of emotions. Touya? Touya, holding his stomach, looked up at me to convey something. Immediately after pursing his lips, a streak of red emerged from the corner of his mouth. Touya? Touya? Touya! Touya was laughing despite the situation. He looked relieved, as if he'd been saved.
Enough. That's enough.
No! The flowing blood dyes Touya's clothes red. His life overflows, spilling out. He held his stomach as if to bring it back in. Touya's sword, at least what I expected to be his sword, entered my field of vision. What? It wasn't the blade that was there, it was the scabbard. Touya had never pointed his blade at me. He must have deliberately swung the scabbard at me to make me misunderstand. Why? Blood rises from his entrails. Touya spoke in a muddy voice.
I'm sorry I hurt you.
I don't want to hear such an apology!
Actually, I knew what I was doing was wrong. But I didn't know how to love you. I didn't know how to keep you at my side.
Then why? We were in love! Why, Touya? Before I knew it, the overflowing tears wet Touya's lips. Touya stroked my cheek with the same soft smile as before.
I can only love you in this way. I'm sorry. But I still love you.
Touya? Touya? Oh, Touya! 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 The color spread at my feet at a horrifying speed. A gorgeous crimson reminiscent of that flower. No! All sounds disappeared. I lost my sense of feel and smell. In my crumbling world, the only thing that was vivid was the crimson color. That divides. Touya's love. Achievement. Holy crap. That ending dragged out. Man, it was... Whoosh. Made me feel things though. Gosh. Noel can suck 500 dicks for that end. Yeah, this was just like... This was just Touya not healing and going back to like his worst self, pretty much. One choice sent the whole house of cards collapsing there. Yikes. But just like treating her in a worse way than you were treated. Calling it love. Like, okay, I know you had to kind of reconcile your treatment as a kid and everything, but oh lord, that was just a disaster. That took so many, like, dark turns and everything. It'd be interesting to see, like, what the fallout from that ending could have been, though. Like, where does Nasla go from there? Where does Naala go from there? Does she run away? Does she stay and try to, like, fix the country? I don't know. But, man. That was definitely an interesting bad end. Even if it dragged on, like, too much for my liking. Anyway, we're done. We're released from the bedroom prison as well. So, taking a break. I gotta sort through my feelings with Touya. Complicated character. Probably gonna end up somewhere in the middle of my list, but I gotta really chew on it. But yeah, taking a break from this, we're gonna go back to Steam Prison, and we have another king over there, an icy king, Jeremy. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you there for that, guys. Otherwise, we'll come back and do another route here. We've got a couple more left to go. Thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, I will see you later.
遊びまだつけしの夢すでに失滅